Live from the tank on the campus of the College of Staten Island, you're watching exclusive doubleheader Senior Day coverage right here on CSI Sportsnet. Tonight, the College of Staten Island will close out their 2019-2020 season as they will take on the Baruch Bearcats in what will be their final game in the CUNYAC Conference. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Babuski along with Dave Pizzuto. And Dave, what can you say? A lot of stuff going on tonight. We got Senior Day. We got the final game in the CUNYAC Conference. Expect some good basketball here tonight.
Oh, absolutely. The CSI women are coming in on a tremendous win streak, Mike. They've been playing probably, hotter than any of the CUNY sides so far to close out the season. Of course, the unfortunate part is that they're not permitted to take part in the postseason as an NCAA Division II provisional member, but really with no scholarship players on their roster this season, Mike, a really, really tough beginning of the season, loaded with Division I and Division II teams on their schedule. Dolphins weathered a tremendous storm. They started 0-6. They've been tremendous ever since, and it's not just the wins and losses, Mike, it's the way the team has been playing. They really have progressed. They're a much better team tonight than they were on opening night, and that's a testament to the great coaching staff that's here, the matriculation of rookie players into the lineup, and of course, the three seniors that we're going to honor tonight for CSI, all big players in their own right, maybe not statistically for some, but really tremendous assets to the coaching staff, and we'll hear why a little bit later on.
Yeah, Dave, and before we get into the game here tonight, we should mention Senior Day. 3 players being honored on the women's side here tonight. And, like you mentioned, a lot of people don't realize how much goes into getting a basketball team prepared to play for the season. And that includes being a practice player and going to practice and being a big part of the squad. And, sometimes people don't understand how much of a part of the team those players are as well. And, for players that don't necessarily get a lot of minutes, that doesn't mean they're not making a huge contribution to the team.
Absolutely not. And one of the biggest differences between Division II and Division III is that the players start their season much earlier in Division II. You're allowed to be on the court with your coaches for a much bigger length of time and for earlier. So these kids have really been playing and practicing with one another since the early stages of September, and here we are in February, still going strong. And Mike, without a postseason to really look forward to, it is a trying season. It is a season that's not the easiest to get up for. But in speaking with a lot of the players, they came in with a CUNY chip on their shoulder. They didn't win the championship last year. They were ousted in the semifinals. A lot of people figured, they're out of the CUNY. They know they're no longer relevant, and they wanted to really set a tone that no, we are relevant, and we're going to go out there and we're going to give you everything you can handle for 40 minutes, whether the game counts in the standings or not. And they came in with a big bullseye on their back. I think a lot of people are really happy for the strides that CSI has made in an institution. There are a lot of people that want to see this team fail, and they want to see. They want to. I don't want to say they want to see him fail, but they want to end the series with a loss for CSI. Like, here you go, welcome to Division II, take this loss with you. And I think the ladies on this team really recognize that. They've gotten some really great efforts from every opponent that they've faced this year. They've been up for the challenge, and man, oh man, are they playing great basketball right now. They're going to be really tough to beat tonight. They're on their home court where they've played magnificently all season long, and they're honoring Lena Batar, Elena DeMontro, and Diana Tadaro, who have just been terrific soldiers of this program, really keeping them aligned through thick and thin. They're going to get a nice ovation from the crowd here tonight, and very well deserved.
Yeah, Dave, and we look at the Dolphins playing Baruch tonight, a team they defeated by 15 points, 74-59, back on January 22nd. But Dave, this women's team has come in. They've won their last 11 games. They've won 14 out of their last 15 games, and only 2 losses for this team, Dave, since November.
Yeah, and you know what? One of those losses was against Hunter College, and they exercised that loss the last time they were on this court. They won by 19 points over Hunter, really set a tone, really showed people just how much more improved they are at this stage of the season. And the only other loss during that time was a loss to a really a tremendous opponent that they were expected not to be strong again. So, the bottom line is the Dolphins are doing a great job. They're finishing CUNY strong. This game means a lot to them. This is their longest winning streak, Mike, in 15 years. It's hard to imagine with some of the great teams CSI's had over that time, under Coach Marguerite Moran, under Coach Tim Shanahan, and now under Nicole Sarcone, that this is their longest winning streak since the 2004-2005 season. It seems like forever ago, but they want to keep that intact, and they want to be one of only really two CUNY teams to kind of finish their season with a W, and that means a lot to them.
Yeah, and Dave, they've also won their last two non-conference games, defeating Mount St. Mary back on December 14th by 14 points, and Cabrini College, their final non-CUNYAC opponent, by a final of 77-70 right here at the Tank. So, the ladies are really playing strong both inside and outside the conference.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what you want to see. You want to see them taking advantage of matchups when they can, and that's the one great thing, Mike, that we haven't stated yet, is that the Dolphins have won games in a lot of different ways. They've won games with strong free throw, with strong free throw line. They've won games via the three-pointer. They've won games just straight up defense, forcing a million turnovers and winning games that way. They've won games, on the interior, like they did almost in that first game against Baruch, where they really started to put some distance in the second half by punishing them on the inside. And they've won it, via behind the arc, even though they're not known for their three-point shooting. It's not their hallmark, but they beat you in a lot of different ways, and they manufacture ways to win, and that's what good teams do.
Yeah, and Nicole Sarcone really doing a great job for this team, and we expect to have her on at halftime here this afternoon, Dave, to get her thoughts on Senior Day and really just how the whole season's gone. And, you go back, Dave, to this tough start that this team had, and, you mentioned it earlier, what do you play for? You're not going to the tournament, all those things. And for this team to bounce back the way it has and finish the season strong, it really shows a lot of good things to come in the future. And, we've talked about them all year long, but the Dolphins have a lot of exciting freshman players on this roster.
Yeah,
Dave.
And you know what? The first week of the season, we got to see a lot of Jada Rogers and Deidre Foster, Christina Arvello, and we had there were kind of big question marks over their head. What can they be? We know what they are right now, but what can they be? I think they've answered those questions. Deidre has really played well from the first game to the last game. She's been just night and day. Jada Rogers, one of the playmakers in the CUNY period. She manufactures shots. She creates around the basket. She could shoot the mid to long range jump shot. So, they've got a lot of fuel in their arsenal. Christina Arvello, tremendous three-point shooter. Her shooting has gotten better and better throughout the year. So, the Dolphins are just really building. They're really doing a great job of building. You add in, Tori Moylan, who joined the team late last year, kind of in her first 1.5 seasons with the Dolphins. She's gotten integrated a lot more. The Dolphins have a lot of bright spots on this team. And like I said, they've been playing extremely well. And what a huge win this would be to close out their home season with a record of 10-3. They're 9-3 right now at home. They've been doing a lot of things well, and tonight could be the culmination of that.
And, Dave, we have just a couple of minutes before we get ready to start with the Senior Day ceremonies. And, perhaps we could take just a couple of minutes here to talk about the graduating seniors, starting with Diana Todaro, Dave, a player that the second she came onto this team really added an element of toughness that this team so desperately needed.
Yeah, she's an impact player in a lot of different ways. She's tough. She's vocal. She doesn't mind physical contact. She's not a dirty player, but she doesn't mind, throwing her body around and using that. She'll dive on the floor for loose balls. She just is somebody who the other coaches have to game plan against, and she's tough to game plan against, because how do you attack a player like that? You try to get her in foul trouble, things like that, but she's just been so versatile. She's a transfer from Kane University, did some tremendous things.
Yeah, and, she's going to finish the season with a double-double most likely and shooting 50% from the floor, so really just a fabulous career for Diana. Elena DeMontro, again, a player that really played a lot of big minutes for this Dolphin team, Dave, over the years.
Yeah, and, sometimes it's running the point. Sometimes it's playing shooting guard. Sometimes it's just, being there for defense and getting big stops late in games. She's been very versatile and has always approached every game with a big smile on her face. Whatever role she has, whether it's 1 minute, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, because of an injury or whatnot, she's really taken it head on. She's accepted her role in the team. Dolphins are better for it.
Yeah, and the final player that we'll mention before we get started with the Senior Day ceremonies, Senior Lena Bitar, another player, Dave, that has done a lot behind the scenes that you don't necessarily see when you look at the statistics.
Mike, she had a devastating injury in the preseason, and it looked like her whole season was going to be wiped away. Would have been really easy for her to walk away from the team. Do her rehab, graduate, hit the books, and be done. Instead, what did she do? She rehabbed tremendously. She wanted to come back for these final few weeks of the season, and lo and behold, she's back. She's in uniform tonight. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of Lena today, and well-deserved. She really worked hard to get herself back into the lineup, and no one in this building thought that she'd be back in time to start this to end the season. But here she is. It's a testament to who she is, her headstrong consistency, and we're happy as heck for Lena.
So we're going to step aside. We're going to take a break here for the national anthem, and then we'll be back to bring you the Senior Day ceremonies as you're watching Senior Day doubleheader coverage right here on your voice of everything CSI Sports, CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
Hi, this is David Pizzuto with CSI Sportsnet, and this is the season finale of The Walk With. Today I'm here with CSI head coach Nicole Sarcona. Nicole, if you'll take a walk with me, last time you were here on this court, big win over Hunter College, a team that you had lost to earlier in the season. How big was that win for the team?
It was huge. I think it sends a big message. We hadn't beaten them since I started here and since the freshmen have been here, so big win. I think a lot of our girls stepped up in the second half and played together, played hard, and it means a lot to our program.
Excellent. And tonight you guys face a Baruch College team, which does, does present some matchup problems. They have good backcourt play. Tell me about the Baruch College team and what the game plan is to, beat them tonight.
I don't know what it is about them, but we seem to have a hard time with them every time we play them. Last year, this year, we do have size inside, but it does present a matchup problem. But we know their personnel. We know how we want to guard them. I think we have to go to work in the paint, and we especially have to go to work on the boards, which I think they did a better job than us last time.
Okay, great. And obviously tonight, a big night for us because we get to honor our seniors for senior night. Elena DeMontro, Lena Bitar, and Diana Tadaro. What have those seniors really meant for this program, and what do you want tonight, for them?
They mean a lot. They had the toughest year, I think, as seniors. They don't get to have a postseason, so, yesterday they knew that was their last practice, and today they know it's their last game, and that kind of stinks, so we just have to go out, play hard, and get the W for them.
You have a huge winning streak on the line. How important is it to you personally to end this season with a win?
I mean, it's not the biggest thing. I think it's more important that we give the seniors their last win on their home floor, but it is important for us to leave the conference as regular season champs.
Great. CSI enjoying a terrific season. It ends tonight, 5:30 p.m. You can watch it live on CSI Sportsnet or catch it live right here at the Tank. It's CSI versus Baruch.
We're back for the Senior Day ceremonies, and here to bring you those ceremonies, Joe Foreman.
High School in San Francisco, California. Over the past several years, she's been a role player called upon for nearly 10 minutes per appearance, oftentimes to help steady the team over important stretches of the game in the few dozen games in which she has appeared. Perhaps no season, however, has been more impressive than this one. During the preseason this year, she suffered a major injury that required surgery and intensive physical therapy. It would have been easy to walk away from the game and the team at this point, but this senior instead worked incredibly hard to return to the court for this final stretch of the season. It's an indication as to her incredible resolve and commitment to giving everything she has for the benefit of the team. Her coaches have remarked just how selfless she has been during this process, a testament to her character and lead-by-example approach. It is our honor now to celebrate her tremendous achievements. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome senior number 22, Lena Bitar. Lena is being presented a commemorative frame courtesy of CSI Athletics and gifts from our coaches and teammates. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, let's hear it for Lena Guitar. Ladies and gentlemen, our next senior is another four-year senior who is leading an impressive career stamp on the program. Not one to dominate the score sheet, this senior is also someone who the coaches have looked for in critical stretches of games as a role player who can be counted on no matter the task. Whether it's hitting a big outside shot, playing suffocating defense, or running the point and steadying play, she's been tasked with filling a number of roles. In her 71 games as a Dolphin, she's averaged just under 10 minutes per contest, averaging just over 37% from the field, oftentimes behind the arc, spreading out 50 assists and 21 steals over that span. But if you ask her coaches, her game goes far beyond statistics. Rather, they would tell you that it's her approach every day in practice, her ability to come off of the bench at a moment's notice to fill whatever void is necessary, and her unwavering commitment to the team that has meant so much over the years. Her presence as a positive player who supports others is critical to the backbone of the team, and several of the reasons for their unmatched success through the years. She will leave behind a big void, but we are proud to honor her today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome senior number 3, Elena Demontre. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Elena is being presented a commemorative frame courtesy of CSI Athletics and gifts from her coaches and teammates. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it one more time for Elena Demontre. Ladies and gentlemen, our third and final senior is a 3-year standout with the team and is a critical piece of the CSI equation since she entered the Dolphin ranks. A mainstay in the lineup, tonight she makes her 53rd start in 76 appearances with the Dolphins, and she's always someone opponents have to game plan for. Averaging just 22 minutes per contest, she maximizes her moments on the court, as evidenced by her career totals of 9.2 points and 8.3 rebounds per game. Like most seniors, she's been saving her best moments to last, as this year alone, she's second on the team in scoring at 10.3 points per game, and is the school's leader and one of the nation's finest rebounders, averaging 11.2 rebounds per game. In fact, her 626 total rebounds rank her 8th all-time at CSI, the second highest total ever in a 3-year span. Her 23 rebounds in a single game earlier this year rank her 14th all-time. Not to be outdone are her career 171 steals as well, reinforcing her dynamic defensive presence as well. As if the stats weren't enough, she's a consummate team player, a positive force that plays as tough as any player, putting herself out there as doing all of the intangibles that a team needs to be successful. She creates a huge void that the Dolphins must fill going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for our senior, two-time All-Star, number 13, Diana Tenor. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Diana is being presented with a commemorative frame courtesy of CSI Athletics, gift from our coaches and teammates.
We're back on the air here as you see Diana Tadero getting on it. And, you know, Dave, you could just see the emotion that comes out in these players, you know, at a night like this. And, you know, we usually say it on senior night, but, you know, players don't realize how quickly the 4 years go by. They go by in a blink of an eye, and, you know, before you know it, you're here on senior night.
Yeah, and, you know, a lot of them, Mike, choose to have their parents come down and join them that we saw on the screen. And it's amazing how much of a family atmosphere it is and how much support that these kids get from their families and how their families become kind of, adopted here into our program. And it's a tremendous moment for these kids, and they play so well at home as well. And I know that they really appreciate it. A huge crowd has collected behind us as well. It's good to see, and as we get our starters introduced as well.
Dave, we haven't talked much about the game yet, but we'll get into that as we go along here this afternoon. But while the players are being introduced out on the floor, why don't we bring you the starting lineups? And here to bring them to you, David Pizzuto. Dave?
Yep, so it's Nia Dawson, the sophomore, getting the start. Number 3, Frances Snyder, another guard in the backcourt. Number 20, Samira Ahmed is the lone senior in the lineup. And then you have Melinda Spayu, the junior forward. She's joined in the front court by number 40, Caitlin Rivera, the sophomore. And for CSI, they've reshuffled their lineup a little bit, Mike, to incorporate the seniors on the team that we just saw moments ago. But Elena DeMontro will be joined by the usual starter, number 1, Megan McEwen, in the backcourt. Diana Tadaro is in the middle, and she will be flanked by Brianna Rybisky and Lena Batar. So all 3 seniors in the CSI starting lineup. That's intentional, obviously, here on senior night, and it's great to see them, Mike, starting the game, especially Lena and Elena, who don't normally get starts.
And, Dave, while we have a minute here, why don't we take a quick look at this Bearcat team, a Baruch team that's really starting to turn things around, Dave. 14-9 this year, 8-6 in the conference, coming off of a couple of really struggling years, but now starting to turn things around here in this year.
Yeah, we didn't really speak a lot about Baruch because of the senior festivities, but they're having a really good season. They have dropped, 3 out of their last 4 games. They've dropped 5 out of their last 7, but really, like you hit the nail on the head. They've played well. And they've hit a few snags. But the bottom line is they always play well against the Dolphins, too, for some reason. One of the things you saw on the commercial break was the walk with that we did with Nicole Sarkonen. She says, Baruch is always a tough out for us. They always match up well. They're really good in the backcourt. And so CSI expects to get everything it can handle tonight and then some. They know, too, this is the last game in the series between these 2 teams. Baruch wants to go out with a win, and when they played earlier in the season, Mike, it was a really good game. Baruch got into a really bad funk to start the game. I think they only scored 8 first-quarter points. But since that point in the game, they were neck and neck with the Dolphins the whole way, created a lot of matchup problems, and it was only at the end where CSI kind of ran away with it a little bit. Otherwise, it was a pretty evenly matched game.
Yeah, Nina Dawson leading the team in rebounding and scoring at 18.1 points and 7.4 rebounds a game as the Dolphins look to control the opening tip, but Baruch will come away with the basketball.
Yeah, and the Dolphins never had really possession of that, so the possession arrow will go in favor of the Dolphins.
So Baruch now will have the first opportunity at the basket, and a nice play by Rybisky to come away with the steal. Brianna looking to drive down the lane. She feeds it over to Batar, who misses the layup, but the Dolphins able to grab the rebound. McEwen feeding it inside to Tadaro. Tadaro kicking it out in the corner now to Rybisky. DeMontro's pass inside is going to be stolen away, so the Dolphins turn the ball over.
Yeah, tough break that time. DeMontro had Tadaro open in the middle. That's where the Dolphins want to really attack, in the paint.
Bearcats with the basketball. Bounce pass. Goes inside to Spayu. She gets it over in the corner. The outside jumper is up, no good. 2 Dolphins go for the rebound, and Batar grabs the rebound for the Dolphins. Pass is going to be knocked away and stolen. So a couple of early turnovers here for the Dolphins, Dave.
Yeah. Unfortunately, neither team on the scoreboard yet. Some sloppy play there. Dolphins moving the ball too quickly.
Spayu with the basketball for the Bearcats. Bounce pass goes inside to Dawson. Dawson working it back out to Spayu now with 10 seconds remaining on the shot clock. She spins inside and works the ball over in the corner. Ahmed tries to drive down the lane. That shot is up, no good. And the ball's going to be knocked out of bounds. And I'm not sure they'll score that a turnover or not, Dave, but Dolphins off to a little bit of a slow start here this afternoon.
Well, that looked rough all around. Ahmed had a wide open layup and blew it, and then the Dolphins kind of were scurrying around searching for the rebound, never truly got a hold of it, and Baruch gets a second life.
Dolphins charged with 4 turnovers here in the first 90 seconds, as it'll be Ahmed with the basketball now for the Bearcats. Both teams looking to get on the scoreboard here in the early going. Bounce pass inside to Dawson. Dawson's jump shot in the lane is up, no good. Tadero up high for the rebound and feeds it over to Rubisky. Rubisky back over to Tadero. Long cross-court pass over to DiMaggio, and a three-pointer is good.
Yeah, one thing about Elena, she's a really good three-point shooter, especially when she's left open. And that time, Baruch kind of forgot about her in the corner, and DiMaggio made him pay.
So the Dolphins get the first basket of the game, and they take a 3-0 lead. Ahmed working it over to Rivera. Now it's going to be Snyder with the basketball. Dawson works it around to Spayu. Dolphins coming out playing good defense here in the early going. That's a tough fadeaway jump shot that time by Snyder. That's no good, but another turnover for the Dolphins. Dawson working it up. That long shot is no good, and Baruch coming out ice cold, Dave. They missed their first 5.
Yeah, and they really haven't been close either, Mike, with some of these shots that they're taking. I know that's going to upset Coach Katrozos, but as we saw another look at that three-pointer, the Dolphins are throwing it everywhere in the building. That's their 5th turnover now, 6th turnover in 2 minutes and 54 seconds.
Dave, this is a CSI Dolphin team coming in, averaging just 18 turnovers a game, 6 turnovers in 3 minutes here for the Dolphins, but they're playing good defense on the other side, Dave, so they haven't allowed the Bearcats to score. Zapolo, who's checked into the game for the Bearcats. Now it's Spayu with the basketball. Spayu trying to work her way inside. Nothing called on the play. She drives inside again. That shot is also blocked, and Batar there to grab another rebound. McEwen, Tadero, over to Rubisky. She's collided into, nothing called. And the Bearcats come away with the basketball as that's Zapolo. Rivera. Dawson now looking to work in along the baseline. Nice block that time by Rubisky. McEwen with the basketball. Batar puts up the jumper and buries it. So our 2 freshmen, Dave, with the first 2 baskets.
2 seniors, you mean, Mike?
2 seniors.
Yeah, Batar and DiMaggio accounting for the first 5 points. They're not used to scoring this early in games, Mike, but nice effort by both of them. DiMaggio has also had a block in this start as well. Baruch 0 for 8 from the floor to start the first quarter.
Yeah, Batar also with 4 rebounds here, Dave, in the early going. As that's Zapolo puts up the jumper. That's off the back rim and in.
Nice bounce off that back iron by a familiar face. Daniela Zapolo played 1 year of women's basketball and soccer here at CSI.
Rubisky feeding it over to Tadero. Now back to McEwen. She steps inside and puts up a jumper, and that's good. So the Dolphins starting to heat up a little bit offensively, and they take a 7-2 lead.
Yeah, so CSI now 3 of 5 from the floor. They've had a lot less shots. That's thanks largely to their 6 turnovers here, but they've settled down and equaled their biggest lead.
Millie Yee into the game for the Bearcats as the ball gets fed inside, that time to Spayu, and Melinda can't hit the shot, but she will draw the foul, and that's going to be the first foul of the afternoon.
Yeah, and Kayla Schmitter is going to come on for the Dolphins to replace Batar, who gave the Dolphins 4.5 hard minutes. And my Kayla Schmitter played a game and a half against Hunter. Last time CSI was on this floor, she played very well.
As Spayu misses the first from the line. She's coming in shooting 72% from the line, so she's been a good free throw shooter this year, but misses the pair, and Rubisky grabs the rebound.
Tough opening shooting night for Baruch there. 1 of 9 from the floor and 0 of 2 from the free throw line.
Rubisky with the basketball. Schmitter, bounce pass over to Tadero. Tadero with the jumper. That's up no good. And it's Zapolo there to grab the rebound. She feeds it ahead that time to Yee. That shot's going to be blocked away beautifully. And DiMaggio comes away with the basketball as the Dolphins take advantage of the second Bearcat turnover of the night.
Talking to the coaches and the players for CSI, they want to win the battle underneath, and they're doing that here defensively.
DiMaggio feeding it over to Tadero. Now Rubisky putting up the three-pointer and buries it. Dolphins getting hot from the field, and they open up their biggest lead of the game.
Yeah, they're 2 for 2 from beyond the arc.
10-2 now. The Dolphins with an 8-point lead, as that's Dawson with the basketball. She's averaging 18 points a game, but scoreless through to now, and now the ball's going to be tipped away, and DiMaggio will come away with the steal. Rubisky Over to McEwen. McEwen steps inside DePolo. Now Schmitter from the free throw line extended. That's up, no good. But Wabisky grabs the rebound for the Dolphins, and then DeMoncho gets called for the travel. So it looks like we're going to have our first timeout here of the afternoon with 3 minutes and 57 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. With the score, Dolphins 10, Bearcats 2. We'll step aside, take a break. You're watching doubleheader Senior Day coverage right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
We're back here with 3 minutes and 57 seconds remaining in this first quarter. The Dolphins with a 10-2 lead. And, Dave, the Dolphins started out slow. They had 6 turnovers, I believe, before they scored a basket. But now they've started to heat up from the floor.
Well, if you told Nicole Sarcone her team was going to have 7 turnovers in the first 6+ minutes of this game and still have an 8-point lead, she would take it. The Dolphins have overcome their turnover woes with some pretty good shooting here the last couple minutes.
10-2, the Dolphins lead as that pass from Zappolo is going to be stolen away. Jada Rogers checks into the game, gets back. The beautiful bounce pass from Tadero. She can't hit the shot, but she follows it up and lays it up and in. So Rogers comes in off the bench, gets a quick basket. Dolphins with their biggest lead.
One real strength about Jada's game is that she always follows up her shots, Mike. She's really good at getting her own rebound. She stays with the play. It's another one of those dynamic freshmen for the Dolphins.
As that outside jumper is taken by Ahmed, that's up and no good. And Baruch Dave now 1 of 11 from the field.
Yeah, they've started out ice cold, and they had a good opportunity here in these first couple of minutes to really stick it to the Dolphins, but really they've been stuck in a rut.
Schmitter with the basketball out by the three-point line now feeds it over to Rogers. Rogers working against Yee, and Yee is going to pick up the foul as she kind of rode Jada in from behind. It's going to be before the shot. So on the first foul of the Bearcats, the Dolphins will inbound, but first we're going to have a couple of substitutions.
Yeah, and it's going to be Arvello with her first action in this first quarter for the Dolphins. Another one of those dynamic freshman players. We still haven't seen Deidre Foster yet for the Dolphins.
Fletcher Snyder checking back into the game along with Val Mitchie as that long outside jumper is up no good as Tadero tried to go for her own rebound. Instead, it's the Bearcats coming away with the basketball as that Spayu. Spayu trying to fight her way inside and lays it up and in. And officials are letting them play here in the first quarter, Dave.
Yeah, Spayu got some contact, worked her way off of it, spinorama, and gets it off the glass. Nice job by Spayu to get Baruch's first basket in quite some time.
12-4 now. The Dolphins with an 8-point lead as they bounce it into Tadero. A beautiful feed over to Rogers, who found herself underneath the basket all alone, Dave, but a tough angle. She couldn't hit the shot, and it'll be Bearcat basketball off the miss. But first, another Bearcat substitution is one thing we've seen from Michael Kachanos, Dave. A lot of substitutions here in this first quarter.
Yeah, want to give the Dolphins a lot of different looks and keep their players fresh. The Dolphins have done a lot of substituting as well, so trying to counteract each other.
So it's the Bearcats with the basketball now as that Spayu. She works the ball up over to Snyder. Snyder feeds it inside to Dawson, and that ball goes right through her hands, and another Bearcat turnover. They pick up their 5th.
Yeah, that was a good pass, just right through the mittens of Dawson.
McEwen. Arvello, the tough running one-hander, is good.
Oh, just when you think Arvello has shown you everything, she whips that out. That's a great move. And off balance, one-handed kind of layup right from the edge of the box. Nice job by Christina.
And Dave, the last few games, she's coming off the bench and hit her first few shots. As that time, it's Yi with the three-pointer in the corner, and that gets the Bearcats right back into it, 14-7.
Yeah, so Bearcats, after missing 7 straight shots, have now hit on their last 2 and have cut the Dolphins' lead in half.
McEwen bounce pass inside to Schmitter, who gets in between the double team and lays it up and in.
Yeah, nice job by McEwen to find Schmitter first and foremost, and then Schmitter to split the defense to get the layup.
So that's going to be Kayla's first basket of the game, and coming right back in for her first basket of the game is going to be Nina Dawson, and that makes the score 16-9.
Yeah, last 4 shots that have been taken for each team have gone in. So both teams catching a little fire.
Rogers now over to McEwen. McEwen kicks it over on the baseline to Tadero. Nice pass over the corner to Arvello, and she comes in off the bench and hits her first 2 shots to open the Dolphin lead back to 10.
Yeah, she's a very confident shooter, Mike, and her confidence is built up game by game. She's been a terrific asset for the Dolphins.
As the Bearcats work that one back to Dawson, and her three-pointer is good as both teams really starting to heat up here in the last minute of play.
Yeah, Dolphins guilty on back-to-back possessions of leaving Yi and Dawson open from the perimeter, and they both trained their shots, making it look easy from beyond the arc.
McEwen kicks it over to Arvello. Her three-pointer is up no good, but Rogers grabs the rebound, but too late to put it back in. So we're going to have 1 quarter in the books. The Dolphins, who have led in this game by as many as 10, go into the second quarter with a 7-point lead. So we'll step aside, take a break. 1 quarter in the books. Dolphins lead 19-12. We'll step aside, take a break. You're watching Senior Day coverage on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
We're back, getting ready to start the second quarter. And Dave, both teams started out a little slow. Dolphins got hot, and then Baruch got hot at the end. So pretty good first quarter. Dolphins lead by 7.
Yeah, Baruch started 1 of 10 from the field. They finished 5 of 15, so respectable, 1/3 of their shots, including a couple of threes.
And Dawson started out slow, but finishes the quarter with 5 points, as that shot is up no good, but she's able to grab her own rebound. She's tied up by Tadero, and the jump ball arrow will go to the Dolphins. So both teams coming out, and, this is a Baruch Bearcat team, Dave. A lot of history between these two teams, and, you only got to go back to the 2014-15 season when this was a Bearcat team that won 8 consecutive CUNYAC championships.
Yeah, they always loaded their roster up with terrific talent, including talent away from New York. They're one of the first CUNY teams to have a lot of reach and a lot of extension beyond the metro area, won a ton of championships, and, hit a little bit of a plateau recently, but they're back.
What a move by Rogers to get the ball right to the basket, but she can't hit the layup. So Jada's missed a couple of inside shots here, and the Bearcats have the basketball, down 7, 19-12.
Yeah, Jada's put herself in some really great positions on the floor. She just hasn't been able to finish. Those shots will fall eventually. Done a good job.
As that time, Snyder tries to drive down the lane, but can't hit the layup, and here comes Arvello. Avello over to Rogers. That shot is up. No good. Might have been partially blocked that time. And Dawson comes away with the basketball for the Bearcats.
Yeah, I think it was blocked, but still, Rogers second-guessing herself. Misses a couple of open layups, and then she kind of just hesitated just a fraction of a second, and that's what altered her shot.
So Dawson comes back. She misses her jump shot. She's now 2 of 6, and the Dolphins come away with the rebound. Just like the first quarter, Dave, no points here through the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's amazing. Almost a carbon copy. Baruch missing on all their shots, and the Dolphins misfiring from in close.
As Schmidt lays it up and in and draws the foul as Caitlin Rivera, the 5'6" sophomore, is going to pick up the foul, and Kayla Schmidt will go to the free throw line. Dave, it's been a game so far with very few personal fouls called. This will only be the 3rd foul of the game, and Schmidt will go to the free throw line here to shoot 2.
Yeah, she's been an excellent free throw shooter all season long, 78%. And she buries that one and gives the Dolphins back their biggest lead, 10 points.
So the Dolphins now with a 10-point lead, as it'll be Ahmed bringing the ball up across the midcourt line, and Rogers waiting to defend her at the three-point line. Spayu with the basketball, guarded by Schmidt. Now she gets the ball up over to Rivera. Rivera's pass is telegraphed and stolen away beautifully by McEwen, who takes it coast to coast and lays it up and in.
Yeah, great backcourt presence there by McEwen, recognizing where the pass was going to go, made it hurt.
As Schneider able to drive down the lane, she was able to break through the Dolphin defense, but she missed the layup, and the Dolphins come away with the basketball.
Yeah, Baruch did a nice job of recognizing the Dolphins' defense was a little bit out of sorts after that fast break and couldn't make them pay.
As Arvello, no hesitation on that three-pointer. That's her second three-pointer of the game, and we're going to have a timeout. Take it on the floor. So let's step aside and take a break. 7 minutes, 15 seconds remaining here in this second quarter. The Dolphins with their biggest lead of the game, 27-12. We'll step aside, take a break, and we'll be right back.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
We're back with 7 minutes, 10 seconds remaining here in this first half. And, Dave, the Dolphins the only team to score here in the second quarter.
Yeah, 8-0 run for the Dolphins to start this quarter off. And, Baruch, they started the first quarter, one of their first 10. They're 0 for 4 here in the second quarter. And, Mike, this is not the kind of game where Baruch can really afford to get down by a huge margin and expect to just chip away for the entire game. They really got to start thinking about cutting down this lead now.
As that long outside jumper is up, no good, but that time Dolphins don't do a good job boxing out, and Ahmed makes them pay as she lays it up and in.
Yeah, Dolphins guilty of, having their feet caught in a little bit of cement there. Nobody really followed the shot, and Ahmed was just able to kind of poke her nose in there and get the rebound and the easy putback.
Rubisky has an open lane and is able to drive it in and lay it in.
Rubisky playing well here, taking matters into her own hands.
As we're going to have a traveling violation called on the Bearcats. They now have 8 turnovers compared to 7 for the Dolphins. And, Dave, the Dolphins had 6 turnovers inside of the first 3 minutes, only 1 turnover since then.
Yeah, and you know what, Mike? I think they had 6 turnovers inside the first 2 minutes. It was like 8-something left, 8:04 left or something like that. And they've really been crisp ever since and are now a plus in that category. Both of these teams are a +1, +2 in the turnover category this season. It's always been a statistic that you and I tend to look at, Mike, because it tells a lot of stories.
As the ball fed inside that time, and the shot by Foster is up no good as Deidre has checked back in to the game for the Dolphins. And it'll be Spayu with the basketball now. Spayu looking to work against Schmitter. She kicks the ball out to Snyder. That three-point attempt is no good. Snyder now 0 for 5 from for the game.
Yeah, and Baruch as a team from the outside have not been crisp. Aside from those 2 3-pointers that they hit, really, they've been their mid-range and long-range game just hasn't been there so far.
And, Dave, you look at the inside plays for the Dolphins, Schmitter and Forster and Tadero, and, you look at their statistics, but as Schmitter lays it up and in, and the Dolphins now have a 17-point lead. But those players don't necessarily get a lot of minutes. You look at a player like Diana Tadero, who averages a double-double, and Deidre Forster, who's at a little over 8 points and a little under 8 rebounds a game, I believe. They're doing this in very limited minutes, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's helped is that they've all been able to spell each other, Mike. They haven't had to play at the same time. And you could see their dominance down low against a smaller Baruch team now. They're just, Baruch really doesn't have an answer on the inside.
4 attempts now for the Dolphins, and they kick it out for the three-pointer by Avello, and that's good. And the Dolphins now take a 20-point lead, 34-14, and I'm not sure what head coach Coachizos is looking for from the officials. The Dolphins just have been dominant here, out-rebounding the Bearcats 22-10 here in the first half.
Yeah, the Dolphins are just bigger, stronger. They have more presence underneath, and Baruch just hasn't done a good job of getting enough bodies underneath to box out. It's a simple, putting your rear end and putting the back to another body and pushing them out of that zone. And, Baruch just hasn't been doing that. So I know Coach Katrozos is upset and upset at the officials wanting a call. But the bottom line is his team's got to do a better job of, taking over the paint and boxing out well. Right now they haven't been doing it. Seen a lot of bodies kind of flying in looking to get rebounds, but otherwise just not fundamentally strong here on the glass, and the Dolphins are taking complete advantage of it.
And you look at some of these early numbers for the Dolphins, Dave. Christina Arvello, 4 of 5 from the field, 3 of 4 from the three-point line, 11 points, 6 minutes to play.
Yeah, and she's a freshman, Mike. She's going to get bigger. She's going to get stronger. Get more confident, going to find more of her shot. I mean, she's just scratching the surface of the kind of player she can be, and she's been terrific.
The Dolphins have allowed just 2 points here in this second quarter and have opened up the lead to 20. Spayu with the basketball, looking to work inside against Tadero, and that time she's able to get it to the basket and lay it up and in.
Yeah, a lot of respect for Spayu, Staten Island native, of course, from Notre Dame Academy, and she's really manufacturing the offense here for Baruch, really forcing the tempo, trying to put her team on her back.
Schmitter working the ball over to DeMoncho, bounce pass over to Tadero, who works it out to Rubisky. A beautiful feed inside as Tadero leaked inside and lays it up and in.
Yeah, and Coach Katrozos on the Baruch sideline has his head in his hands. Just can't believe it. And again, it's because Baruch is just not gaining any sort of body and positioning on the interior.
Yeah, as that time it's going to be Spayu again, I believe, laying it up and in. So she's gotten the last couple of Bearcat baskets, and the Dolphin lead is 20.
Yeah, she's played 12 minutes. She's 3 of 5 from the field. Has really been the leader here for Baruch offensively.
Schmitter out at the three-point line. Now it's DeMoncho. DeMoncho putting up that long three-pointer. That's no good. And Zappolo there to grab the rebound and feed it ahead to Mitchie. Mitchie's shot is no good, but it's going to be knocked out of bounds. Last touched by the Bearcats, so it will be Dolphin basketball as Kayla Schmitter will check out for the Dolphins.
And Tori Moylan with her first action. And, again, a lot of good players for the Dolphins who simply just can't get on the court, Mike, because everybody's playing really well. And the Dolphins staying fresh with their subs. But now Moylan with a chance to showcase.
36-18. Dolphins with the lead as it's Moylan with the basketball. Bounce pass goes up over to McEwen. Now DeMoncho looking to drive her way inside and lay it up and in. Nice move that time by Alana.
Yeah, and you know what? She goes goes baseline, drives strong, never even doubted herself. Kissed it right off the glass. Great play by DeMoncho.
DeMoncho now 2 for 3, a steal, 2 steals and a block here. As we're going to have a blocking foul called along the baseline. That will be on Tadero, as you have an opportunity to see that rebound. And DiMaggio taking the ball strong to the basket.
And again, even on that play, Mike, when we saw the replay, DiMaggio, all she had to do with Dawson bearing down on her is just bounce pass right underneath. Diana Tadaro was wide open, and Baruch is just not playing on the interior defensively.
Spyu with the basketball, working the ball over in the corner. Dawson with the long two-point shot. That's no good. And DiMaggio there to grab the ball for the Dolphins, who bring it up with a 20-point lead. Moylan, now DiMaggio, bounce pass inside to Tadaro. Tadaro trying to fight her way through a double team, now kicks it out to DiMaggio, whose long three-pointer is up, no good. The ball's going to be tipped out of bounds. Last touch by Spyu, so it will remain Dolphin basketball with 20 seconds on the shot clock.
9th offensive rebound for the Dolphins.
DiMaggio, Moylan, now McEwen out by the three-point line. Over to Rubisky, who's able to maintain possession. Now Tadaro putting up the long three-pointer, in and out. And the Bearcats come away with the basketball. But that pass is going to be stolen away beautifully by Tadaro. Came back off the missed shot, Dave.
Yeah, exactly. Got herself back in position to break up that play.
As Rubisky tries to drive to the basket, that's up no good. And the Bearcats looking to run. Ahmed over to Zappolo. Her shot is blocked. And now we're going to have a whistle and a jump ball called. And the possession arrow will go to the Bearcats.
Yeah, and nobody, both sides arguing their case. Baruch wants a foul. And CSI saying that's just a clean block.
Just 4 personal fouls called, Dave, so far on both teams with 1:43 left in the first half.
Yeah, it's been a lightning fast half, too.
And the officials letting the players play, which is usually the best course of action. And that time, Dawson able to lay it up and in. She's got 7 of the 20 Bearcat points. McEwen puts up that long three-pointer. That's no good, but Rogers able to grab the rebound for the Dolphins. Now Moylan with the long two-pointer. That's no good, and another rebound for the Dolphins.
Dolphins getting away from their inside game, though, Mike.
Rogers, now McEwen. McEwen puts up that shot. That's no good. And now Tadaro grabs the rebound, feeds it inside to McEwen, and she'll draw the foul. And, Dave, the Dolphins just really hurting the Bearcats on the glass.
28-14 is the rebound total now. 12-5 on the offensive glass, and the Dolphins are just buttering their bread on the glass here, and they're just extending their lead. They've led by as many as 20, and Megan will have a chance to equal that.
Dave, the Dolphins have really stopped turning the ball over, and they've shot the ball pretty well all afternoon, though their shooting percentage now down to 43%.
Yeah, but when you've had 22 shots because of all the extra opportunities, that's been the difference, and Dolphins have officially doubled up here on Baruch. Now lead by 20, and Lena Batar comes back in to a nice rousing ovation from her fan base here in the stands.
So the Dolphins with their 20-point lead as we head down into the final minute of the first half, as taking that outside jumper is Dawson. That's no good. She's now 3 of 9 on the afternoon. McEwen, as that pass is knocked out of bounds, and it will be a turnover for the Dolphins, Dave. They're 8th of the game, and it'll be Bearcat basketball.
Yeah, it was just a tough break. It kind of skipped off the hands of a Baruch defender and then onto Megan's fingertips. So Dolphins guilty of another turnover. Baruch has got to turn these possessions into points now.
Dawson working the ball up over to Zappolo. Now Ahmed with the basketball, but that pass is going to be stolen away beautifully by Tadaro as the Dolphins with the basketball as they feed it over to Rogers, who lays it up and in and draws the foul.
Yeah, so Dolphins with a heads-up play defensively in the paint, and then Tadaro able to turn defense into offense quickly. Rogers goes up strong, gets fouled, and gets a chance to complete the three-point play. She's a 65% free throw shooter, another area of her game that has improved steadily throughout the season.
So the Dolphins already with their biggest lead of the game as Rogers can't hit the free throw, but Tadaro grabs the rebound, and Rogers lays it up and in, and Dolphins starting to pour it on, Dave.
Yeah, they are really laying a hurt to Baruch now. I mean, they're really burying them, and Baruch has got to find a way to get themselves back into this game. This was a good contest when these two teams met in Manhattan earlier in the season. Baruch's got to really start chipping away.
As floating it inside and laying it up and in is Spayu, and that's going to do it, Dave. 1 half in the books, and the Dolphins go into halftime with a 22-point lead.
Yeah, pretty complete first half. The Dolphins started out very slow and turning the ball over, and they really kind of equaled it out. And Nicole just waved at us. She wants stats before she comes over, Mike. But yeah, I mean, they got their shooting up. Their defense has been there from the get-go, and they've done a really good job here. And they've got a huge first half lead they take into the locker room.
Yeah, Dave, the Dolphins played well. We mentioned they've won 11 in a row, 14 of 15 coming into the game here tonight. And, they started out slowly, Dave, turning the ball over, but they never let that interfere with their defense in any way, and they go into halftime in control of this one.
Yeah, absolutely, as Nicole Sarcone is making her way over to us. And she's going to be able to make her way into the locker room with a sizable lead. Nicole taking a look at some of the first half stats. I know a lot have gone her way.
And, Coach, thanks for coming over and joining us on Senior Day. The team playing very well. You're going with a big lead at halftime.
Yeah, I mean, I think the energy from senior night is making them go. A little sloppy in the beginning, about 7 turnovers in 2 minutes. But I think that was just nervous energy. They got it out. I think we're pushing the ball well. We just have to slow down a little bit, stop making crazy passes, and make the easy pass.
Coach, the team has played so well of late. You've won 11 in a row, 14 out of 15, 1 half of basketball remaining here for the year. What are you looking for in the last 20 minutes?
Just want the girls to come out and have fun and work hard. I think we are getting our points in the paint like we wanted to today, and if they're going to double that and pay attention to that, we can have our guards knock down some shots. So I just want them to have fun, go out and make a statement.
Mike, Nicole, you talk about having fun, making a statement. How important was it to get the seniors starting tonight on their day and then seeing Lena and Elena hit the first couple of shots? That had to make you feel good.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I feel good for them. I think they're capable of it, and they just have to, get rid of the nervous energy. But they came out confident. They came out playing hard. There was no hesitation, and especially for Lena, who's coming back. She's only been back for 2.5, 3 weeks. Right. She's playing with no fear, and that says a lot.
Coach, the team has played great. You've had a great second half of the season. Congratulations and good luck in the second half.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Excellent.
So that's head coach Nicole Sarcone, nice enough to come over and join us here at halftime, Dave, for a women's basketball team that's been closing out the season strong and had a really good 20 minutes to start the game here this afternoon.
An excellent 20 minutes, Mike. I mean, this is a game that we expected to be close. We expect it to be, decided by a couple of possessions either way. Dolphins have just blown the doors off of Baruch in the first half, but they have to equal that intensity in the second half. It's easy in games like this. We've seen the Dolphins in this position before when they've played teams like Medgar Evers and Lehman, teams that notoriously have struggled. And the call to action is always, let's finish how we start. Let's not get down. And the Dolphins are the type of team that they go 100 miles an hour 100% of the time. They don't want to put their foot off the gas. So the next 20 minutes, obviously, is going to be all about Baruch trying to cut away, and the Dolphins looking to keep their foot on the gas pedal.
So we're at halftime. The Dolphins with a 44-22 lead. What we'll do is step aside. We'll take a break for a few minutes, and then we'll be back to bring you halftime statistics and get you ready for the start of the second half as you're watching Senior Day doubleheader coverage on your voice of everything CSI Sports, CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
When your car is damaged, where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4898.
Hi, Meals on Wheels. I'm Marco. I'm a college student, and I volunteer as a driver for Meals on Wheels. I think it's awesome meeting these people. I mean, they're so interesting. They've had so many wonderful experiences in life. Your community helps to raise you up into the person that you become. Meals on Wheels is a great way to give back to that community.
Cobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Cobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
We're back here at halftime at the Tank, where the College of Staten Island leads the Baruch Bearcats by a score of 44-22. It was a game that the Dolphins went into the second quarter with just a 7-point lead, but a big run to open up the second quarter, Dave, catapulted the Dolphins into the lead, and they go into halftime up 22.
Yeah, they've been able to take advantage of some tough shooting for Baruch all night long. I think Baruch started the first half 1 for their first 10, and then they started the second half, I think, 0 for their first 5 or 6. So Baruch just hasn't been able to get off to a good start, as you can see the numbers on your screen of the totals. But when you take a look, Mike, you see the Dolphins have taken 8 more shots, and their percentage has been much better overall. You could see the real statistic that matters is that rebounding total. I mean, over twice as many as Baruch has had. 30 rebounds and a half is a lot of rebounds. And the Dolphins, of those 30 rebounds, 13 on the offensive glass. So the Dolphins have almost just as many offensive rebounds as Baruch has total rebounds, and that's why CSI is taking more shots. That's why they have more points in the paint. Mike, we don't have that, but points off turnovers, we look at the turnover margin there. Dolphins have 8 turnovers. Baruch has yet to score off of a CSI turnover. The Dolphins have 13 points off turnover. So the Dolphins are doing the best, maximizing second chance opportunities, maximizing turnovers that Baruch has had, and they've ridden that to a 22-point lead.
And Dave, in both quarters number 1 and 2, Baruch really came out struggling from the field, and it's really hurt them because you look at the statistics, and they're 5 of 15 in the first quarter, 5 of 16 in the second quarter, but they've put themselves in a hole in both quarters.
Well, yeah, if you remember in the first quarter, the Dolphins scored 12 of the first 14 points, so they started on a 12-2 run. And then in the second quarter, they started on an 8-0 run. We'll do the math. That's 20 points to 2 in the first couple of minutes of each quarter. And you look up at the scoreboard, the Dolphins are up by 22. So there's your difference. The difference has been the way both of these teams have started quarters. The Dolphins have just grown that lead tremendously in those minutes. It's been a clean game, a fun game, a really fast-moving game. That part we enjoy. And Dolphins have really made the most of their inside presence. Defensively, Baruch just hasn't been there in the paint. And Baruch's got to come out on fire here, Mike, to get themselves back into this one.
You know, Dave, we have just 20 minutes remaining in this women's basketball season for the Dolphins, the final season in the CUNYAC Conference. And, you know, Dave, you've been here for a long time, and you've seen and covered a lot of these games within the CUNYAC Conference. What are your thoughts going into these final 20 minutes of the conference?
You know what? It's bittersweet because the final 20 means that there's no postseason, and that stinks. You know, the Dolphins knew that if there was a postseason for them, they'd be the number 1 seed. They'd have a nice first-round bye, and they'd get the catbird seat for the entire tournament. But that's not the case. But, you know, I spoke to Diana Tadaro last week, and I spoke to Nicole Sarcone, and I asked them straight up, I'm like, did you come into the season with kind of a chip on your shoulder, with a CUNY chip on your shoulder? And Diana was like, absolutely. You know, we this season is all about us proving to people that we belong in Division II, that we're going to make that jump. And, you know, they also know that there are ECC schools, Mike, that are every now and then they're pulling up CSIDolphins.com. They're trying to see, you know, what this CSI team is all about. And I think that they've been pretty impressed. And I know it's bittersweet to see rivalries like this end, but they're going to usher in new rivalries for the Dolphins. And that's exciting. You know, that really is exciting. And I know that the Dolphins have had a tremendous amount of success in the CUNY. I think across the board, all sports, the Dolphins, you know, potentially maybe the most storied program as far as, you know, teams that consistently win and show a great product. And I think making that jump, I think, is just really exciting. And I think the CUNY should be excited about that, about seeing one of its own teams kind of make noise at the next level is exciting. I know it's bittersweet for a lot of these kids. I know it's bittersweet for me because I have a lot of good relationships within the CUNY, relationships that don't necessarily end, but, you know, they're going to give way to others. And that's always pretty sad. And I know for us, Mike, because we have so much fun on the air together, especially during basketball season, it stinks when basketball season's over. But optimism for the spring, but being indoors, with this crowd and with these teams, the coaching staff, these kids are great. They're such awesome people before they're even athletes. And, you know, I know for us it always stinks when basketball season's about to end.
So Diana Tadaro, Elena DeMontro, and Lena Batar, the 3 seniors, but they're leaving the program in good hands, Dave, and a lot of excitement as everything starts to build towards Division II. The schedule comes together. Team sees where they're playing. You kind of figure out the travel. A lot of excitement, a lot of new things going on. Dave.
Yeah, and new kids to welcome into the building, you know, with scholarship. Dolphins don't have any scholarship players right now, but they will next year. Their competitive schedule, Mike, is about 95% done for next year. The Dolphins will count in the ECC standings next year, even though they won't factor into the postseason seeding, so that's exciting. You know, so these players know it. You know, these seniors know that, you know, it's our job to make sure that these student athletes are ready for the next step. It's our job. You know, one of the sayings that I have, Mike, with all of our kids is first is forever. they're always going to be the first kids to ever play Division II at this college. For better or for worse, indifferent, they'll always be the first, and that's something that lasts forever. 50 years from now, they can come back and say, we were the pioneers. We were the ones to bring the school to the next level, and they should be proud of that, and they should be really proud in a season where if you finish 17-8 or 7-18, in the grand scheme of things, Mike, who was going to notice? Who was really going to say, that was the difference? But these kids really took it personal. They took it to heart, and you could see by the way they're playing, this means the world to them. And they know a win today against Baruch, they don't factor into the standings, but they're the CUNY champions in the regular season, and that means a lot to these kids.
Yeah, Dave, and this is a team we mentioned before. They've won 11 in a row, 14 out of 15, just 2 losses going all the way back to November 30th, and one of their 8 losses against a Division I squad, Dave. So this is a team that has really played phenomenally, especially when you get past the first 6 games of the year.
Yeah, and the first 6 games of the year, you're playing, great Division II teams, not good Division II teams, great Division II teams. And they suffered some losses. They suffered a loss to Division I Wagner College, but since then, they've been aces.
So we're underway here to start the second half as the first shot of the second half is taken by Diana Tadero. It will be no good, out of bounds. So it will be Bearcat basketball. And Dave, Baruch looking to get off to a faster start here in the third quarter.
Oh, no question. This will be their first offensive series, and I'm really interested to see what they do with the basketball, how they move things along. The Dolphins are playing a 2-3 zone, it looks like. And actually, no, they go a 2-3 zone. So we'll see if Baruch can break it.
So the Bearcats passing the ball around the perimeter as that's Rivera getting the ball up over to Dawson. And Dawson has 7 points, but she struggled with her shooting a little bit as Zapolo takes that running one-hander in the lane. That's no good. And the rebound grabbed by Batar, but her outlet pass is stolen away, and the Dolphins turn the ball over. Spyu has the ball knocked away beautifully by Tadero, and the Dolphins come away with the turnover. DeMontre with the basketball for the Dolphins. Over in the corner, the long shot is up no good by Rubisky as Zapolo comes away with the basketball and feeds it up over to Dawson. Dawson has it stripped away beautifully by Tadero. 2 steals for Diana here to start the second half. DeMontre, her jumper from the top of the key is good as she continues her hot shooting, Dave.
Yep, senior to senior that time. Diana had the steal. Then had the assist on DeMontre's shot. Nice job by the Dolphins.
Dolphins now match their biggest lead of the game. It's 24 points as the Bearcats with the basketball now as that's Zapolo in the corner. Over to Dawson. Wide open for the 3. That's no good. The rebound tipped away, and Tadero comes away with her 5th rebound of the afternoon. So once again, Dave, we played nearly 2 minutes of this quarter. Baruch failing to score as DeMontro's shot is up no good. Tadero grabs another rebound as Baruch is just not rebounding the basketball.
No, they're just not in good position to either.
Tadero's shot is up no good, and this time Zapolo comes away with the rebound. Worked over in the corner. That shot by Yee is up no good. Dawson able to grab the rebound and lay it up and in.
That was a nice job by Dawson to kind of get her way on the inside and find herself between defenders. Perfect opportunity to grab that one and get the putback.
46-24. Wabisky in the corner, now feeds it over to Tadero. She works it out to McEwen, who now steps back for the three-pointer. That's up no good. But Tadero, a beautiful job to save it and feed it up over to McEwen. Her putback is up no good, and Tadero grabs another rebound. Now DeMontro's three-pointer is good. And Baruch failing to rebound the basketball, Dave, and it's just killing them here to start the third quarter. So 7:10 remaining here in this third quarter. We're going to have a timeout taken out on the floor. We'll step aside, take a break.
Might be a 30-second timeout here, Mike.
It is, Dave, so why don't we keep it right here? But here in this third quarter, Dave, Dolphins shooting just 2 of 9, but the Bearcats not able to rebound the basketball.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a determination whether this is a 30 or full, but it is. You see the shot here by DeMontre that goes in, and she nails it. But, yeah, Mike, you're right. I mean, the Dolphins just rebounding the basketball 36-18 now. to start this second half, and now they will move this into a media timeout, Mike, so it will be a full timeout.
So why don't we just keep it here anyway, Dave, with 7:10 remaining here in the third quarter, an opportunity to talk about this ladies basketball team a little bit, Dave. So we know the 3 seniors leaving this year, but a lot of excitement in store for the future. And, you know, you look at some of these young players for the Dolphins, lots of reasons to get excited, Dave.
Yeah, and everybody is expected to return for the Dolphins next year. Obviously, the next year's senior class will be Megan McEwen, Brianna Rubisky, Lola Plamenko, and then they'll be complemented by a host of returning talent. The Dolphins already have a couple of highly touted recruits that are coming on board, and you know, they're really excited. They're really excited, and the more that I'm invested in what the coaches are doing here, they've just been tremendous. The coaches have done a tremendous job. I don't know who's going to win Coach of the Year in the CUNY. Doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but Nicole Sarcone and the way her team has played in the CUNY, 15-1. If they're able to hold on to this one, she's a shoe-in for that award, in my opinion. There's the amount of talent that she brought here as freshman, and then the cultivation of that talent from day one to day whatever this is, 100 or so. It's been night and day. The Dolphins are just playing such great basketball. And don't forget, in the middle of all this winning, Mike, they beat a Cabrini University team, Mike, that had beaten the number 10 team in the nation, coming into that game against CSI. So this Dolphins team is playing extremely well.
Yeah, and, you know, one of the exciting things about this team, Dave, is a bunch of their best players are just really beginning.
That's right, and getting better, and that's what's scary. You know, you got good players on the court already, but then, you know, I look at players like Jada and Christina Arvello and Deidre Foster, and I'm thinking they're just going to get better. It's just going to be the trajectory is off the charts. So done a great job.
Schmidt with the basketball now, feeding it up over to Rubisky. Now it's Tadero working against Zapolo. That shot is up, no good. But Schmidt comes away with the rebound as she feeds it inside to Tadero, who lays it up and in. And, you know, Dave, the Bearcats just not rebounding the basketball at all, and it's really hurting them.
Yeah, and that time Zapolo did a great job on Tadero underneath to force a tough shot, but the Dolphins were all over the rebound. And then on the second chance, Zapolo was out of position.
And a 7-2 run to start this third quarter for the Dolphins has given them their biggest lead of the afternoon. Dawson with the basketball working against Rubisky. Now Zapolo puts up that shot. That's no good. And McEwen there to grab the rebound for the Dolphins. Now Rubisky with the basketball. Now Schmidt. Schmidt's jumper from the free throw line is good.
Yeah, nice heads-up play there underneath by Rubisky to find Schmidt.
Schmidt now 9 points on 4 of 6 shooting on the afternoon, as the Dolphins now open up the lead to 29. Zapolo feeds the ball up over to Yee. Now it's Spayu. Spayu trying to back in against Schmidt. The tough fadeaway is up, no good. And McEwen up for her 4th rebound of the game. McEwen tried to feed it inside to Tadero. Now to DiMaggio. DiMaggio's three-pointer is up, no good. And this time the Bearcats come away with the rebound. Zapolo. Rivera out at the three-point line. Pass over inside to Dawson as she'll back the ball out with 15 seconds on the shot clock. Dawson crashes in to Tadero and will get called for the offensive foul.
And Mike, right before that foul, I was going to say, when's the last time we've covered a women's basketball game where they've been just 6 personal fouls through the first 25 minutes of a game? I mean, it's almost unheard of, but that was number 7.
Yeah, and the officials doing a great job here this afternoon, Dave, and really letting the ladies play out on the floor, and you really like to see that. And they've done that here this afternoon.
I know we like to see that. I think sometimes the coaches would like it called a little tighter, but you know the play's been clean. I mean, they've been jockeying for position. We saw that one as well, but it's been a good, evenly matched, clean game.
Yeah, as Schmidt lays that up and in. She's now in double digits with 11. As Ahmed with a nice move, kicking it over to Dawson. Now it's Zapolo out by the three-point line. Over in the corner, and the long three-pointer is up and in, as that was Frances Snyder, and I believe that was Snyder's first basket of the afternoon. So we'll have a timeout taken by the Bearcats. It's a 30-second timeout. So let's keep it right here, Dave. But once again, a slow start shooting in the quarter has really hurt the Bearcats.
Yeah, and you said it. That was Snyder's first basket. She had started the game 0 for 6 from the floor, and she's averaging 10 points for Baruch. This is a Baruch team that's averaging 66 points per game, a little under 66 points a game. So they're not going to really blow you out of the gym. Their calling card is great defense, good perimeter play, waiting for their shots, half-court offense, and that just hasn't been there. You could see they're stuck on 27 points, and they're just 2 of 9 in this period. So, Mike, if you take just the first 5 minutes of each quarter, the Dolphins, I think, have outscored Baruch by something like 25, 26 points, and that's really where the difference has been in this game. Baruch has just started ice cold in each one of the 3 quarters, and the Dolphins are winning another quarter because of it.
And, one of the things that Coach Sarcone mentioned when she came over to speak to us was the amount of turnovers the Dolphins had, especially early in the game, Dave. They had 7 turnovers, in the first 2 minutes or so. They now have 9, Dave, on the game.
Yeah, and they're a +4 in that category, too, and it seemed like they were just throwing the ball all over the gym and really not having much success. And they've cleaned it up. And that's something that I spoke at length about with Kelsey Carey, the assistant coach of the Dolphins, is when I had her on the podcast very early on in the season. She says, look, we're a team that's going to turn the ball over because we play high tempo. We have a lot of guard play. We have a lot of different people, controlling the ball. So we are going to have turnovers. The question is, can we knock it game by game to 20, to 19, to 18, and not have these big peaks and valleys? And that's kind of what they've done. And if you look at them, they've had a couple of tough ones, and there's another pass that goes errant and will count as a turnover. But for the most part, they've been keeping those turnovers down, especially during this winning streak.
Yeah, so that pass will go out of bounds, so it'll be Bearcat basketball. And, if they're going to have any shot of working their way back into the game, they need to pick up with their offensive efficiency. So let's see what they could do here on this possession, as that's Ahmed with the basketball. Ahmed tried to step out and drive in. Her shot's no good, and Tadero controls the rebound for the Dolphins. Diana with her 10th rebound of the game. McEwen with the basketball. Looking to work against Schneider. Now it's Arvello. Arvello stops and pops and hits, and she continues her strong shooting here this afternoon, Dave.
She's now 5 of 6 from the floor. She leads the Dolphins with 13 points, all off of the bench.
As that shot is knocked away, and that time Zappolo tried to grab the offensive rebound. Instead, she'll knock it out of bounds, and it will be Dolphin basketball with 3:13 remaining here in the third quarter.
And Tadaro will not get credit for that rebound, but she may as well have. I mean, it's good because she follows the play, doesn't make Zappolo, grab it easily, and because of that, the Dolphins have the ball.
Tadaro with 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and 6 steals, Dave, on the afternoon. So she's filling up the score sheet, as that's McEwen with that long jumper. That's no good, and Forster there to grab a rebound over to McEwen, who lays it up and in.
Dolphins now with 19 offensive rebounds. Baruch has 20 rebounds total.
And now they're going to have a turnover as Tadero feeds it ahead over to Forster. Now it's McEwen with the basketball, and she'll back the ball out as the Dolphins will look to set up offensively. Their lead now at 32.
It's hard to believe Tadaro is 3 steals and 3 assists away from a triple-double without one of those categories in the point column.
As now Tadaro lays that up and in, that'll be her 6th point of the game, Dave, on 3 of 12 shooting. So Diana really filling up the score sheet. It'll be interesting to see here what happens over the last 12 minutes. Feed goes inside. Now the ball kicked out. As that's Spayu who puts up the jumper and buries it.
Yeah, Spayu's been really the lone bright spot in this game for Baruch. She's 5 of 9 from the field, but really her ability to kind of end every CSI run has been the difference in a game where it's going every way but Baruch. She's been a good bright spot.
As that pass by Forster is stolen away by Dawson, and now the Dolphins turn the ball over, and it'll be Zappolo with the basketball. Now Spayu looking to work against Tadero, and she lays it up and in.
Yep, she's been good. She's been very, very fresh on the court. She's gotten a lot of minutes, but she's playing very fresh there on the court.
The first Bearcat to 10 as Tadero puts up that jumper and buries it. And now she's got 8 points, Dave, on the afternoon.
8 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 7 steals for Diana. She's having a really great game.
Quite a senior day for Diana Tadero, as we're going to have a whistle and a foul called. And that's going to be the first foul on the Dolphins, Dave, here in this third quarter.
Yeah, only the second one of the half for either team.
So Moylan will check into the game.
Looks like Lola Plamenko has come in as well. Her first action, she replaces McEwen.
And Tadero goes to the bench as well.
Bearcats looking for their first free throw of the game. They're 0 for 2 to this point.
As that time Dawson short arms it. She'll have one more.
Spayu went 0 for 2 on Baruch's other trip in the first half.
Dawson is a 69% foul shooter who also misses both. So the Bearcats now 0 for 4 from the line.
Yeah, and if you're a Bearcat fan, that's really frustrating. You know, your team is down by a load of points and get some free opportunities, can't hit them.
Moylan handing the ball off to Arvelo. That shot is way off. And the rebound grab by Spayu. Spayu, 2-on-1 break. Nice pass. Back and forth that time by the Bearcats to lay it up and in.
Yeah, nice job by Spayu to finish off the feed by Zerpolo. Really unselfish play there by Daniela Zerpolo, extending that possession.
Shot clock is off as that pass is stolen away. As that's Zerpolo with the basketball. Now Dawson. Dawson trying to work her way inside. She kicks it over in the corner. Now the jumper taken by Snyder is good.
Yeah, Dolphins with one junior on the floor, a sophomore, and the rest are freshmen.
So that ball is going to be knocked out of bounds with 2.1 seconds remaining. It will remain Dolphin basketball, but the Bearcats trying to work themselves back in the game. Still a long way to go as that long jumper by Arvelo is up and no good. So 3 quarters in the books, and the Dolphins maintain their big lead heading into quarter number 4. So we've played 3 quarters complete. The Dolphins lead by a score of 63-35. Let's step aside, take a break. You're watching women's basketball coverage. The final 10 minutes coming up right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
Now Taylor looks to drive, and a beautiful bounce pass finished on the slam by Adiola Latunji. What a feed by Christian Taylor.
It was such a beautiful play, and Christian saw it, came open, put in the perfect bounce pass, and the Dolphins have their lead.
Jumper no good, and Christian Taylor gets the rebound. We're under 2 minutes to play. Touchdown pass, Cartels drop off to Latunji. Nice bit of ball movement by the Dolphins. The first pass from Taylor to Cartalis, and then Cartalis to Latunji.
Every highlight reel finish, every home game, all season long. Catch all of the live action on CSI Sportsnet.
We're back here heading into quarter number 4. The Dolphins lead by a score of 63-35. And Dave, the Bearcats have struggled offensively at the start of every quarter. Melinda Spayu and Nina Dawson combining for 11 of 22 shooting for the Bearcats. The rest of the team, 4 of 24.
Yeah, Dolphins have just been in a little bit of a different gear tonight from the outset. Senior night, obviously, their last game on the floor. Their last game in their first season as a provisional Division II team. They were all sorts of ready for this one, Mike. And now it looks like the only thing really in doubt is going to be the final score. The Dolphins up by 28 here to start the 4th.
So Foster grabs the rebound, and Dave, this is kind of what we were talking about a little bit. Deidre now with 7 rebounds. She's only played 6 minutes.
I know, and it's very quiet. You know, like I don't even think we've mentioned her name but once or twice, and she just, continues to just steadily, destroy the stat sheet very quietly.
Zerpolo with her jumper from the free throw line extended is good.
Yeah, so the Dolphins have been stuck a little bit now. They had a 34-point lead, 61-27. Since then, a 10-2 run for Baruch.
So the Bearcats trying to work their way back, but still a long way to go with only 9 minutes remaining. Rogers stopping and popping. That's no good. Zerpolo there to grab the rebound for the Bearcats. as she now has 8 rebounds on the afternoon. That shot is up no good, and McEwen grabs the rebound. McEwen to Arvello as that ball's knocked out of bounds. As Arvello might have gotten away with a step before she dribbled on that one.
Mike, we've been talking so much about the Dolphins, but got to give credit to Baruch here. A nice little run here to end the third and start the fourth. Certainly not quitting on their head coach, Michael Petrozos. They've obviously expected more coming into this game, but give them credit for hanging in.
As Arvello buries another three-pointer. She's 7 of 11 from the field, 5 of 7 from the three-point line. So she's played very well, and Bearcats able to come back with an answer of their own.
Yeah, Zorpolo recognizing that Baruch needs a lot of points quickly. Comes right down the floor, got a quick look, and shot it right in.
66-39 as Moylan feeds it inside to Rogers. Nice play that time by Zorpolo as she's able to come back and block that one away. Dolphins inbound the basketball as it's McEwen. Now Arvello out at the three-point line. As she'll back the ball out, and the Dolphins will look to run some shot clock as we're inside of 8 minutes to go. Arvello drives down the lane, and a late whistle and a blocking foul will be called, as that foul will be on Melinda Spayou as she picks up her second foul. And Dave, the Dolphins with just 3 personal fouls on the afternoon. Baruch with just 6.
Yeah, you just don't see that very often at all. And Arvello now, Mike, with a chance to hit on a career high. Her career high coming into this one, 16 points against Lehman College. She has 16 here in this one, and just jinxed her out of missing her first free throw, but she'll get another chance here.
She's got one more upcoming, a 77% free throw shooter, as her second free throw is up and in.
And again, you take a look at a kid like Christina, Mike, you figure early parts of the season, if she can give you 5 or 6 points coming off the bench, and here she is at the close of her freshman campaign giving you 15 points, 16 points, 17 points coming off of the bench. Again, this future's bright for this Dolphins team.
Yeah, and 60% shooting as well, Dave. So she's played very well here this afternoon as that's Ahmed working it up over to Dawson. Her three-pointer is way off, and Moylan grabs the rebound and looks to feed it ahead to Robisky. DeMontro, now McEwen with the basketball as she'll back the ball out, and the Dolphins will begin to run the shot clock with their big lead. McEwen driving along the baseline. Bounce pass goes inside as Tadero has that ball knocked out of bounds, but it'll remain Dolphin basketball with 8 to shoot.
Yeah, Baruch a little bit frustrated there underneath. They had 2 or 3 dark blue jerseys underneath there, but Tadero was able to skip that one along off the defense.
So that ball comes out to DeMacho. She'll work the ball in the corner now. Robisky drives down the lane. That shot's knocked away, and here come the Bearcats with the basketball. As Spayou looks to take it coast to coast. She lays it up and in and draws the foul.
Yeah, Spayou's been a real positive player here for Baruch. Now she's got 14 points on 7 of 11 shooting. Easily Baruch's most efficient player on both sides of the ball. She added 3 steals. She has a couple of assists, 5 rebounds in a game where Baruch has been severely out-rebounded. So she's putting together a really complete game.
And she hits the free throw as the Bearcats edge their way back to within 25. DeMontro with the basketball. Now it's McEwen. The Bearcats looking to trap the Dolphins in the backcourt, but the Dolphins do a nice job of getting the ball across the midcourt line. Tadero puts up the three-pointer and buries it. Diana now with a double-double, 11 points, 11 rebounds to go along with 7 assists and 7 blocks as the Dolphins lead opens up once again. As that shot is knocked away, it'll go out of bounds and remain Bearcat basketball.
Yeah, Diana, we don't see a lot of three-pointers from her. You know, this season alone, as you get another look at it, they did leave her open for it, and she made him pay. She came into the season, Mike, 0 for 3 from three-point range. So
Diana hits her first three-pointer of the year.
And she's 1 for 2, so she only had 3 attempts the first 24 games of the season. You know she wanted one here to end her career.
Schmitter with the basketball. Now DeMoncho. DeMoncho puts up the long three-pointer, and that's good. Elena with a great game, Dave, in her final afternoon as a Dolphin.
Yeah, they registered that as a two-pointer. I don't know if that was. They got to fix the. They got to fix it on the scoreboard, but that was indeed a three-point shot. They gave the Bearcats a point on the scoreboard. So your scoreboard on your screen is incorrect. It should be 73-44.
So the Dolphins with a 29-point lead as they will look to inbound the basketball here. As Baruch once again looking to trap in the backcourt, but the Dolphins able to break it. Feed it ahead to Tadero, who's going to draw the blocking foul on Dawson, and now Diana will go to the free throw line to shoot two. Diana 3 assists or 3 steals away from a triple-double here in her final game as a Dolphin, as she will go to the free throw line now to shoot two and hit the first.
You've got the scoreboard correct.
74-44. One more coming up here for Tadero. She started out 2 of 10 from the field, Dave, and she's hit 3 out of her last 4 shots.
Yep, it's another part of her game, too, that has been good, has been the free throw shooting.
Now Dawson with the basketball is able to drive it up and lay it up and in, and that time Dawson able to get into the interior of the Dolphin defense and lay it up and in.
And you see what Baruch's trying to do here, just press the Dolphins to as many turnovers as possible, and there's one.
And Schmidt turns the ball over, and now it's Dawson working against Robisky. She loses the handle, and it'll be Dolphin basketball. So the teams trade turnovers here in the fourth quarter. And Dave, the Dolphins were stuck on 9 for a while, but they've turned the ball over here 5 times in the fourth.
Yeah, and you see Baruch, too, Mike. They're not a very deep team, so you wonder, like, where has this press been the entire game? And that's because you expend so much energy defensively that it's hard to get back offensively and make a difference. And that's the reason why they haven't been really able to employ it since the jump. But they've been good since they've started that.
Robisky with the basketball. Now Schmitter out beyond the three-point line. She picks up the dribble. Now it's McEwen. McEwen trying to work her way inside. Her layup is up no good. And Schneider there to grab the rebound for the Bearcats. Snyder over to Zappolo. Zappolo's shot is up and in.
And now Baruch wants to talk it over here. This will be immediate timeout as well, Mike.
So we'll step aside and take a break now with 4 minutes and 47 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter. Dolphins 75, Bearcats 48. We'll step aside, take a break, and we'll be right back.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
We're back with 4 minutes and 47 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter. The Dolphins lead by a score of 75-48 here on Senior Day. And, you know, Dave, if you're a CSI women's basketball fan, it was exactly the kind of Senior Day you were looking for.
Yeah, and it's hard to imagine that the Dolphins could have put up a better season than they did last year when Nicole Sarkone's rookie season. But the Dolphins are going to be on their way to 17-8. That's the best record in the CUNY Conference. They're going to run their CUNY record, well, their record against CUNY teams to 15-1. Just a tremendous 25-game season, and they're first in Division II. The Dolphins loaded up their early part of their season. They played Division I Wagner College. They played a host of games against Division II schools, New Haven, Southern New Hampshire, Post University, NYIT. Easily the toughest schedule of any of the CUNY teams, and to come out with 17 wins to show for it, Mike, is just extremely impressive.
Yeah, Dave, and when you think that the Dolphins started off the season 0-6, winning 16 of their last 18, and it'll be 17 of 19, Dave, in another 4 minutes or so. What a performance by this team. And, you know, Dave, we mentioned it a couple of times, but you got to give these ladies so much credit going out, knowing they're not going to make the conference tournament, knowing they wouldn't get credit for the regular season championship, but going out and doing really everything that the coaching staff could have wanted.
Yeah, and it's hard. You know, it's hard when, you know, you win all your games and, you know, you have to read about, you know, other team winning a CUNY regular season championship, or, you know, teams tweeting that they're the number one seed. And that's not saying take anything away from Brooklyn College, which has done tremendous. But it's tough. It's tough to get up in the morning and then come to practice after seeing things like that, or, you know, you know, you got to give this team a tremendous amount of credit. They had focus from the very first day, and like I said before, first is forever. This is the first Division II team in CSI history, and they have a lot of really great positive things to show for it. And Mike, they join CSI women's soccer and CSI men's soccer, teams that conceivably won the regular season in CUNY. I mean, outright, you know, men's soccer did not lose a single CUNY match this season. Women's soccer did not lose a single CUNY match this season, and you know, you got to give the credit to the coaches for really keeping their teams motivated in a season where, you know, you can look and say, what are we playing for? This stinks, you know, to win all these games in CUNY and not have a chance to lift the trophy at the end. What are we doing? But to keep that focus, to keep that in mind, I give a lot of credit to this coaching staff. I really do.
Yeah, Dave, and you know, we'll wrap things up with the men's game taking place at approximately 7:45 today. Is McEwen will take the outlet pass and drive it down the lane and lay it up and in. But, you know, we got the spring sports coming up as well, Dave, and you know how exciting that could be. Softball and baseball and all the other sports that go on in the spring. So, you know, a lot of excitement for those teams as well.
Yeah, and a lot of great rivalries. You know, we talk about CSI men and their rivalry with Baruch, especially last couple of years, championship in the tournament and stuff like that. What about, you know, softball and their great rivalry with Hunter College through the years? That's going to be one we will definitely miss. CSI baseball, great rivalry with Baruch College and John Jay College through the years. That's going to be coming to an end. There's just so much to look forward to. And CSI men's tennis, they've had great rivalries as well with teams like Hunter and Baruch. So there's a lot to look forward to, even though this one's coming to an end. Bittersweet, but plenty to look forward to.
Yeah, plenty to look forward to. Really looking forward to baseball and softball season. The men heading down to South Carolina, Dave, in about 10 days. Yep. You know, that should be exciting. And girls not with a preseason trip this year, but still a lot of excitement around that program as well, of course, Dave.
Without a doubt, under first-year coach Eric Kraut. Already got some great kids in the building who are locked in for next year. We got a few players added this season that we're really excited about. So just a lot to be excited about. And if you're a Baruch College fan, you do have a postseason in basketball to look forward to. And the Bearcats women here, Mike, could have easily crawled up into a hole. They're playing well here in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Dave. They're continuing to come out and play hard. And like you mentioned, they're getting ready for their postseason tournament in the CUNYAC Conference as McEwen buries the three-pointer. It's going to be, I believe, her first three-pointer of the afternoon as Dolphins lead 80-54 as we head down to the final minute remaining as Dawson misses that shot. And she struggled a little bit today, Dave, just 7 of 17 from the field.
Yeah, sure, definitely. And get into our final minute. So we're going to see Lena Batar get a curtain call here to the bench. She'll be replaced by Foster. Lena will be joining us during post-game here to talk about this victory for CSI. And I'm sure on the next couple of whistles, Mike, we're going to see Elena and Diana come off the court as well.
Yeah, Lena finishing 1 of 2 shooting and 5 rebounds for the Dolphins here in her final game as we're inside of the last minute, as that's Alvelo using the Foster pick. shooting the open shot. That's no good. She's able to grab her own rebound. She tries to feed it to Foster, but the Dolphins will turn the ball over, and here comes Spayu with the basketball. Spayu hopping away inside and laying it up and in, and she's played very well for the Bearcats here today, Dave.
Been a great bright spot, and a bright spot of this team.
As now ahead of the field is Tadero, who lays it up and in, and now the two seniors will check out of the game, Dave.
Yeah, and I see Lena Batar, who's a little shaken up there on the sideline, but what a moment for Elena and Diana. They get big hugs from their coaching staff. I know Diana personally is a very emotional person. Mike, she said, I might cry tonight, and she made sure that we wouldn't have her on the post game, and I promised her we wouldn't call her for the post game, even though she probably deserves to be here with us talking about it. But she's a great kid, and so is Elena. Elena is actually an intern in our department, Mike. During the fall, she interned for our marketing and promotions department, and what a great kid. Smile on her face every day in practice, just a real positive influence. And what a great job by these seniors. What a great job by the Dolphins. They finished 15-1 within CUNY and really made a statement. Their first season as a Division II team, 17-8 overall. Great season for head coach Nicole Sarcone and company.
So the Dolphins will finish the year winning their final 12 games of the year, and after starting out the season 0-6, will win 17 of their last 19 games, as Lena Batar, nice enough to come over and join us here on CSI Sportsnet after a big senior day as the Dolphins come in having won their 12th in a row. Lena, first of all, congratulations on a great career on the CSI women's basketball team.
Thank you.
You know, Lena, the team came out and played so well. You've won the last 12 games in a row. How is the team able to keep it together after having that tough start?
Well, we just keep each other up, good energy, positive vibes, and we just got to cheer each other on. That's how we do it.
Lena, I noticed when you came off the bench, you were a little emotional. Was it because the knee was bothering you, or just the weight of being a senior here?
A little bit of both, but mostly my knee. I don't know. I jumped and rebounded wrong and landed bad, and it just got worse, unfortunately.
And you know, Lena, your team is about to cut down the nets because this is your first season as a Division II program, and you guys deserve it. We're going to let you enjoy the moment. But just one last question: the coaches were so gushing over you and what you were able to accomplish this season. When you went down with that injury, was this something that was kind of earmarked that you had to get back this year?
Yes, my thought process was I have to get better. I'm going to work every day and try to get better. So I had to come back.
Well, Lena, you and your teammates leave us in awe every night. Thank you for being such a great contributor to our program. Go enjoy this moment with your team. Cut down that net.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So that was Lena Batar, Dave, nice enough to come over and join us as the ladies cutting down the nets. And, well-deserved, Dave. They've really come out. They really kept together all year long, and they finished the season with a big win against Baruch here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a moment that's good for them, Mike, because, I know that, maybe some of the Baruch fans in attendance or the men's team is getting set, to take the court. I know they're probably thinking, what are they doing? What is CSI doing? But you got to remember, if you're a Baruch fan or if you're a fan of another CUNY team, CSI is not going to win a CUNY championship this year. But what they've done is championship caliber. To come into a season where you don't have a postseason, you don't have a single scholarship player on your team, and you have to play a full CUNY schedule, even though you know that not a single game count towards the standings. When that there are perhaps some teams that are upset that you're leaving, this is very gratifying for them, and remember, first is forever. This is the first Division II team in CSI women's basketball history. They deserve the moment. They ran the table in CUNY. They defeated every team, and if they did have a postseason, Mike, they would want to do this, probably at CCNY or wherever the championship's going to be played this year. But this is a great moment for them. It's a great moment for head coach Sarcone, and it's moments like this that make you proud to be a Dolphin.
Yeah, Dave, and you look back over the recent history of the Dolphins, and you go back to Marguerite Moran and, of course, Timmy Shanahan coaching, and now Nicole Sarcone taking over the reins for the last couple of years. And, the program looks to be in really good hands, Dave, as we move into Division II next year.
Without question. They're definitely in a good position. They graduate 3 super seniors, but are able to just rest on a returning cast that'll be back next year. And again, with the addition of some scholarship talent, the ECC gets them next year. The Dolphins will get some growing pains. They'll have a chance to showcase their talents for another couple of years before they're eligible for postseason. But this was a nice exit from the CUNY ranks.
Yeah, as you watch the Dolphins continue to cut down the nets here this afternoon. And, ordinarily, Dave, the men's game scheduled to start about 7:30. We're looking closer to 7:45 probably for the start of the men's game. And, all the emotion and all the excitement on the women's side. Same thing coming up for the men, Dave.
Yeah, for sure. And the men right now are 9-15 overall, and they're facing the defending CUNY champs in Baruch College. So they have a lot to prove. They want to get into the double-digit victory column. They didn't add anybody really on their roster with the exception of Justin Cardenas. And, this game is personal for them too. It's their last game at home, season number 1 of provisional Division II play. And, they're going to take it personal as well, Mike, and they're going to look to put their best effort. Baruch has a super team on the men's side. They've been terrific all year long. They're well coached. They've got great senior and upperclassmen leadership, and by all means, it should be a great men's game as well.
Dan Lena Batar, who we just interviewed, Dave, up there cutting down the net, is the net about 3/4 of the way down, Dave, as Elena DeMontro now going up, and an opportunity to cut the nets down. And boy, Dave, for Elena, 4-year player on this team, it doesn't seem possible that 4 years ago she was a freshman.
Yeah, and Diana's going to get set to cut one as well. But, Mike, we talk about, like, the commitment level, especially of kids who don't play a lot. A lot of people forget, I think the cumulative GPA of this women's basketball team, something like a 3.2 or something ridiculously good like that. So you're looking at the court at, a team that achieves in the classroom as well, and that's really inspiring. This is a team, again, a scholar-athlete team, and that's what Nicole Sarcone and Kelsey Carey really, promote. Christina Passatoro, who's not here tonight, Mike, is another assistant coach who's, has grad school and is pursuing a career as well. Just a tremendous player in her own right. And then, of course, Christina Rubin, who just joined the staff. The coaching staff really promotes positive academics, positive sportsmanship. This is a team that does a tremendous amount of community service, and a lot of stuff that gets unseen they achieve in as well. And the basketball is pretty good too.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, Dave. And, although the season's just ending, boy, it won't be long, Dave, till we're back out on the floor and getting ready for the preseason. A lot of athletics in between those two events will occur first, of course, as we'll roll into the fall sports before basketball begins. And, as we mentioned before, Dave, still a lot of excitement coming up for the spring.
Absolutely. And check out that scene there. Second-year coach Nicole Sarcone, tremendous Division II introduction. And, next year, Mike, it's all about the East Coast Conference and, welcoming them in as they'll put a new net up there. Sal Trancucci from the baseball team gets to do that honor. But what a moment for the CSI women's basketball team. They finished 15-1 against CUNY competition, 17-8 overall. What an intro. It's going to be hard to top that next year. But the way they ended their season, Mike, makes you really excited about what's to come.
So that's going to wrap things up here for our women's coverage of game number 1 on senior night. Once again, the final score, the Dolphins 82, Baruch 56. The Dolphins finished the season having won their last 12 consecutive games and will finish the regular season with a record of 17-8. So for David Pizzuto, our producer Joe Masha, Joe Foreman, and Samantha Flecker across the way, thanks for joining us. We're going to go off the air for a couple of minutes. You could re-link up with us following the men's basketball link on CSIDolphins.com. We'll have the pregame show coming up for you shortly. The opening tip probably around 7:45 or so. It'll be senior night for the men as well, of course. So we'll step aside, take a break. You've been watching women's basketball coverage right here on your voice of everything CSI Sports, CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.